Hello, hello. Happy Sunday. And I really got my fingers crossed that all is well. We are enjoying Hanoi. Thanks, Lena. And thanks for joining in. Let me know that you can hear me okay. Being that I'm just on my laptop tonight, I don't have all my usual gadgets, which is really weird to experience. And my hair is all frizzy because it's very humid and it rained here today. We went on a tour on a Jeep, and yeah, so by the end of it, I'm very perfect. Thanks, Lena. Um, so I thought today it would be a good thing to talk about just food and joy. And because something came up this week for me in another group that I help with, and it was about food and how it affects us and, causes problems for us. So, I remember back in the day, coffee gave me anxiety attacks or panic attacks. And it turned out it was the dairy, not the coffee, but it took me a while to figure that out. Um, but there's this theory, like we all eat, certain foods depending on what's going on for us. And this person was talking about one thing that affected them. And this other person was saying, yeah, but that might not affect somebody else. Now, what am I trying to say here? Is that different environments and different foods affect us differently, right? And it's really fascinating. And here's an example of what I'm trying to say, because I'm probably not getting it across really well. When people go on holidays, you tend to be able to eat things that would normally cause you problems, and they don't when you're on holidays. Have you experienced this? Anyone that's watching? And I know I've heard of people that have visited France that have gluten intolerance and celiac, full on like celiac. I'm not sure why they would eat croissants if they have celiac disease, but they go there and they can eat it fine in France. They just can't eat it in Australia. So I find that whole concept of food in joy, when we're in happiness and we're not under stress and all that kind of thing, that it affects us differently. We can digest it. And it plays a lot into how, I'm always talking about how emotions affect us, right? And like, here's a pure example. So we've been in Hanoi for 3.5 days now, and I've had a banh mi every single day. Now, if you don't know what a banh mi is, it is a French baguette, and it's unlike any bread you've ever had in your life, unless you've been to France or Vietnam. It is both crunchy and soft at the same time. It's insanely good. And it has pate on it. Freshly made pate, not the store-bought kind. Everything that you see in all the street vendors is all freshly made, which I think plays a lot into the food here and why I'm not having any issues with it whatsoever. But when you have something and you're in joy like that, does it affect you the same as if you're living an everyday life and you feel guilty? So let's say I'm, at home in Australia and I'm working hard and all the things, I'm really busy, and all I have time for is a sandwich. And I make myself that sandwich and I feel guilty and terrible because I know it's not going to affect me very well. I know it's going to cause problems with my lipedema. The gluten causes problems with my Hashimoto's, like all these things. And so you feel guilty, but it's the quickest thing you've got to grab, right? It's a whole different feeling in your body when you're somewhere like this and you're eating it with such joy and, oh my God, how fresh is this, and everything that's on it, and you don't even know what's on it. We had a traditional banh mi this evening that I could see she put on, because the little ladies beside us helped me order, because it was a different menu to the other ones and I couldn't understand the difference. And so this little family beside me were like, "Oh, get number 12. It's got a bit of everything on it, and just ask for no chili if you want no chili." And so I'm eating this banh mi tonight that's got a bit of all these different strange meats and pates and things on it. And I was in such joy, and it tasted so amazing There was no guilt. There was no, oh, but, trying to justify why I was eating bread. It just is. And it was joy. And I just believe that when we eat our food, no matter what it is, when we're in joy and no stress, that we can probably eat a far bigger variety than if we were in our normal situation and at work and constantly feeling guilty about what we eat. That's just my theory. And a friend of mine talks about food, that there's not just food, but there's soul food as well. And soul food is the joy, is the traveling, is the new experiences, is the seeing cultures and all that kind of thing. And I think that speaks to me when it comes to eating the food here. And honestly, I'm not eating, I'm going to say badly, because breakfast is a buffet breakfast that comes with a hotel. So there is heaps of carnivore, like keto options, and, all delicious. So breakfast is no drama. Lunch has been the banh mi and an egg coffee or a salted coffee. If you've not been to Vietnam, they've got such a big coffee culture here. I've been actually quite surprised. I thought Bangkok had the big coffee culture, but the coffee culture here is insane. And they have what's called egg coffees, which comes from the war when they ran out of milk. So they whisked together egg yolks and sweetened condensed milk in a can, and that's very French. So this was, like the French owned, is that what they call it? Owned Vietnam or ruled Vietnam for quite some time. So the French baguettes in the banh mi is left over from the French rule. And so is the sweetened condensed milk in a can. I know that because my mother-in-law, who is French, that's what's been in her fridge for years to put in her coffee, is the sweetened condensed milk. And so apparently what they did was they whisked together the egg yolks and the sweetened condensed milk and made it all fluffy, and that's what they used instead of milk. And half of me's like, it was insanely good. It's so tasty. It's so sweet. It's ridiculously sweet. And then there's that part of me that goes, it must be high in protein because of the egg yolks in it. So I'm just like, wow, how, like, if the egg yolk is in that and it's balancing out the sugars, like dampening the sugars, it can't be as bad as it seems because it tastes so freaking good, right? So that's been interesting. And they have something called a salt coffee. Doesn't taste like salt. I haven't Googled how they make their salt coffee. It tastes more like a liqueur coffee, to be honest. And what else? The coconut coffee. I've had a cold coconut coffee. I haven't tried the hot coconut coffee yet. And then they've got the other coffees that they have is just brown coffee, which is like an Americano, a black coffee, and white coffee, which is coffee. It's probably like our latte, right? The white coffee, all incredibly sweet. You don't ask for sugar, it just comes that way. So really insanely sweet. But everything that I've eaten, you know how when you're eating things that are exacerbating your inflammation or making you clogged up or making you just feel like, I do not feel that here. So night times we tend to be having like normal meals. And so like last night I had what's called a bun cha, which is a bowl of meat and broth. Again, super sweet. I don't know what's in it, but super sweet, but salty and sour at the same time. And it comes with a separate bowl of rice noodles that's all cooked, and you just put in however much you want of the rice noodles, and a bowl of greens, a bowl of lettuces and herbs and that sort of thing. So it's that kind of thing for dinner. So really the only bread I'm having is the lunchtime and the banh mi, whenever we have the banh mi. But I don't feel yucky. I don't feel tired. I don't feel fatigued. I feel amazing. I feel clear. Yeah. And in fact, my rings are like, you can see they're quite loose. That's unusual. So I'm like, surely eating banh mi's, I haven't actually lost weight. But you don't know. When you go to a different country and you are eating things differently, and it teaches, traveling has taught me a lot about food, in so much as in the Western culture, back in Australia, I cooked up big amounts of food and I would freeze them. So I always had something on hand to be practical, right? Here, both in Bangkok and here in Vietnam, everything's fresh, everything's cooked on the day, everything's used up, and then they start again the next day. And I gotta wonder how much that is impacting our health by having the consistent leftovers. I haven't had a lick or a tiny taste or anything of vertigo since I've been in Vietnam. It had calmed down a lot anyway, but here I'm not even getting a whisper of it. And of course, I'm not cooking any food and putting it in the freezer or fridge. So yeah, I've got to wonder how much leftovers have got to do with the vertigo situation. If you haven't watched that video, it's in the playlist there somewhere. So that's sort of been interesting. Vietnam is one of the countries with less percentage of obese people. Absolutely. I have only seen now. One of my pastimes is watching the legs of people around Bangkok and here now, like everywhere I go, for lipedema to see who's got what. And I see a lot in Bangkok, a lot. Asian women, Western women, doesn't matter the nationality, right? Here, I've seen maybe 2, and normally I would see 2 a day in Bangkok, for example. So here they are absolutely leaner. They are leaner, definitely. And you look around, and here's the other funny thing: it's a smoking society still. They all stand around smoking on the streets and that sort of thing, which is unusual. You don't even see that in Bangkok now. So you think, wow, they're smokers. They're having the bread every day. Is there a lot of fried food? Yeah, I'm going to say not as much fried food as Bangkok. So there is fried food, but not. It's mostly. It seems to be the food of choice is the bowls of noodles, like the bun cha or the pho. I don't know if that's how you say it, but that's how I think you say it, which is broth, meat and noodles sort of thing, and usually rice noodles. And the banh mi, that's sort of like, I've been actually surprised at how few varieties of things that there are here, that they seem to sort of eat the same thing. I was able to get my beloved pomelo all cut up, ready to go for me on the street corner. So that's great. I put some of that in the fridge. So that's a low histamine fruit, and it's like a big, huge grapefruit, which I really like. And so that's one thing that I've incorporated into my diet, because I'm always looking to how I can get back to balance, right? How can I get back to eating a balanced diet and not be stressed about what I'm eating? And it's just been such an aha moment for me here to go, I'm not worried about what I'm eating at all, and I feel great. I feel, okay, I haven't got my tape measure here to check my ankles. I haven't got my scales here to check my weight. So that might tell a different story when I get home on Tuesday. But so far, I'm noticing the fact that I came over here with the intent to not worry about things because I didn't know what sort of food I would like here. I thought it would be very similar to Bangkok, and it's very, very different. So that tells you what I know about Asian countries, right? I thought it'd be kind of similar. Not at all, not even closely. It's very different. And the vibe here is like in Hanoi, particularly, it feels like a movie set to me. Everywhere you turn, even where they're cooking food and gutting fish on the street, it's like everything just looks so beautiful. The way they go about things, the women are dressed so beautifully. I very much look at them and go, wow, they take such effort and pride in what they're wearing and looking feminine. And I think in Western countries, we get so practical. And also when we're bigger, we get so practical about what we're wearing, right? It's like, does it fit our lippy arms? This was me, a couple of years ago, 3 years ago, this was me. Does it fit my arms? And it's not too huge on my waist and still fits my hips and my thighs, right? That was my only boundary, or that was my only, if it does that, I'm buying it, it is what it is. I never went to the trouble of, and I could have, having clothes made for myself so that I felt better about myself. And watching the women here, no matter their size, because they're not all skinny mini. I haven't seen, I'm going to say I haven't seen a single really obese Vietnamese woman. I have to say, not yet. Time. But even at a bigger size, they dress up and take such pride in what they're wearing, and it's just so lovely to see. My new earrings, right? They're like little wind chimes, right down to their jewelry, and my hair is all fuzzy because of the weather. But their hair is done beautifully, and their nails and all the things, and it's just so inspiring, and it makes me want to go home and, do better. It doesn't matter that I live in a hot environment. It doesn't matter those sorts of things. So if you saw in my thumbnail, I have actually bought a beautiful Vietnamese outfit. I bought two, and it cost me a whole $20 Australian. And they're just so practical but so beautiful because they're split right up to the sides, like a dress, but they come with flowy pants underneath. I just wear my leggings underneath because that's what I'm used to wearing, and that's my thing. But I felt so girly and so lovely. And I have to say, and I know some of you are just not there yet. Lena, you might be one that's nearly like can see the finish line. But getting a dress like this that had very slim fitting arms, I've got hair on my shirt, it definitely made me feel like I picked it up and thought I still had that moment. So here I am 3 years. So 3 years since gastric sleeve surgery, 2 years since I lost most of the weight, and a year since I had my arms done, and like a few months since I had my waist done and my tummy done, and my neck and everything. And I still picked up when she got me the size. She's, "This one fit you?" And I went, "Oh, that's not going to fit me. There's not a chance that's going to fit me." So it's still here. I don't know how long that's going to take to go away. But it's still up here that as I put on this dress, it fit me like a glove. And this is a tiny, let me show it to you. This is a tiny dress, right? Hang on, let me zip up the back for you. But I bought a second one because I thought, oh, this is so cool. And, right, so it's so gorgeous. And the sleeves are so tiny. And I looked at them and went, not a chance. And there's even space in them for me. And you can see, so the side, see it splits up to the side. Right, so then that just goes over your pants or your leggings. Very practical, very pretty, very feminine. And I absolutely love it. And I'm going to see if I can get another one because that's just beautiful. But yeah, just we don't do enough of this. And this style of dress, this must be amazing for lipedema. My legs, so especially now since I've had my lower body lift, my hips and thighs are definitely, like I'm back to pear shape. Whereas when I first lost the weight, I was for the first time straight up and down and the same size top and bottom. But that was because I still had the overhang and the excess skin on the tummy. But now that that's been removed, I'm definitely like, the curvy shape. And that because, you could have something like this made with arms to fit you. And because it's got this on the splits up the side, and wear leggings underneath, your compression tights, and it goes down to the floor almost. How great is that for a lipedema outfit? And I can't even tell you how many women complimented me, even though everyone wears them here. I had so many women, and I think I'm going to say 6 of 7 women that complimented me were Vietnamese. I love your dress. I love your dress. So I felt really girly in it. So maybe that's an option for lipedema because it's very clearly an Asian inspired dress. So it's not like a caftan. Everything else fits lovely. So it gives you shape at the top and then gives you room for your legs to move. So I'm loving that idea for us lippy girls. Hey, so just a thought process for you. But anyway, that wasn't the topic of today. It's so lovely. I don't know if I put a post up in that dress. I'm not sure, but if I don't, I will. If you follow me on Instagram, did you start following me on Instagram, Lena? Because I had a Lena, but it had no, and I thought, I wonder if that's you. So if you follow me on Instagram, that's just my name. There's more photos there of Hanoi and everything that I'm doing. So yeah, feel free to do that. But back to the food. I think we just have to start giving ourselves a break. And if we're going to eat food, we have to eat it in joy. And we have to let our body feel like we're in joy. That's not to say, I'm not saying, oh, eat all the junk food under the sun. I'm just saying if we're going to eat something, we should love it, be grateful that we're eating it, and maybe our body will behave differently, because my body's certainly behaving as if I'm eating the best health food under the sun. Maybe I am for my body. Who knows, right? We don't know. But I do know I feel amazing. I feel clear. I don't feel gunked up or inflamed or anything like that. And yet I'm eating a French baguette, this size one, not this size one, every single day. And I'm having coffee I have coffee every single day at home, but this is like egg coffee and all the things coffee and very sweet coffee. So I just want to, I guess, suggest to you that if you're having a problem with a certain food, try that food, cut that food out, but try that food when you're with people you love or you're enjoying yourself, and let yourself do it. Let yourself enjoy it. Years ago, I went to a doctor once I finally found a doctor that would prescribe natural thyroid medication. So this was back before it was really, you could get it. And she was asking me, how do you, what are you eating? Blah, blah, all the usual things. And when at the time, I was very high plant-based. And I said, every morning I have porridge with, I don't know, grated apple, cinnamon, and nuts, or whatever I was having at the time. And she said to me something that I'll never forget, because I still think of it, and I think about it on this trip. Oh, that's great, but do you enjoy it? And I was just like, oh, I think so. Nobody had ever asked me, do you enjoy it? Because if you're eating food that you do not enjoy, no matter how healthy it is, the fact that you don't like it will cause a cortisol response in your body. And what does cortisol do in our body? Inflammation. What does inflammation do in our body? Grows lipedema, makes thyroid disease worse, or whatever it is that you've got going on for yourself, right? So I think we don't spend enough time thinking about food can just be food. Food can be joy. And if we're eating cleanly most of the time, and we go out to restaurants where we're enjoying people's company that we love and adore, then maybe the chocolate lava cake or whatever it is, or is your thing, is not a problem. And the next day just resumes as usual, and the joy of the night is the only thing that remains. I guess that's what I'm trying to get across. So it's just been more of a contemplation, because I wasn't even sure if this was going to work tonight, to be honest. And it was just more something that I've been noticing as I've been walking around the streets and watching people, and, as you say, watching the size of people and the health of people, even though they're all eating this food, they're all smoking. Well, they're not all smoking, but it's certainly a much bigger smoking society than even in Bangkok, right? Let alone back in Australia, way more than that. And you just think all these things that seem to be, and ice cream, their ice cream culture. We haven't tried the ice cream yet, but every tour we do and every tells us, have you tried our ice cream yet? It's called Tian. Now I've forgotten, Trian Tien or something, Triang Tien. And they're like, you've got to try our ice cream. It's amazing. And every night you see people walking around the streets eating ice cream, like everyone. And it's an insane number of people. So I'm like, wow. ice cream, banh mi's, they smoke, yet they're all slim, they're all healthy, they're all extremely happy and happy-go-lucky. What do you make of that? Food joy, right? I think it's the joy. It's just, I think we need to have more gratitude for our food. And in having gratitude for our food and enjoying our food, having food that is made fresh rather than leftovers or a quick meal or quick heated up meal because we're in a rush. I think that's what the difference is. They've taken joy in making their food from scratch. So yeah, so that's all I wanted to share with you today, and my lovely Vietnam dress, and I will be getting at least another one, right? So I've got that one, I've got a green one or a khaki green one, white and green one, and I'm going to go looking for a black and white one. So, because I think they're going to be heavy usage for me in Bangkok. So we'll see how we go. Right. That's it for me. And I will see you next Sunday night. And I hope everybody has an amazing week. Lena, I hope you're going amazingly well. Anybody else that's watching, please let me know how you're going. You're welcome. Janice, how are you? Oh, I'm glad you like the pics. Yes, you see my Facebook pics. We are having a great time. It's my birthday tomorrow. I'm 55 years old, so I'm very excited. We're going to go find a bakery and buy a cake. so, so we'll see how I feel after that. But yeah, thanks, Janice, and thank you, Lena. And we will catch up again this time next week. All right. Have a great week, everybody. Bye. Happy birthday, Invest. Thanks, Lena. Bye.